Questioner says, Assalamu alaikum. I'm a 23-year-old brother from the States, and my question is pertaining to the etiquettes of using these Muslim matrimonial websites. I've used 3 of these websites, including Pure Matrimony, Mawadda Matrimony, and half of our Deen. However, the problem is I'm not sure if I'm using these websites with the proper etiquette according to the Quran and Sunnah. For example, when I use these websites, I usually go through the sister's profile with the websites, searching, it says here, Al-Gathrim. Then with these results that show from my search, I go through the sister's profile, which most times contains a picture of her. I go through her profile to see if to see if there is a mutual interest. And if there is, I send her a message to see if she's interested in my profile. If she's interested, I asked her questions relating to marriage. However, sometimes the sister is interested and I'm asking her questions regarding marriage. When I tell my parents, they don't want me to continue pursuing that sister. So, where do our parents come into all of this if everything is online? Some sisters have their profile managed by their parents, but most do not. Please explain the proper procedure and etiquettes in using these sites. Jazakallahu khair. Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. First and foremost is we make dua to Allah for you to allow you to find a righteous, suitable spouse. Allahumma ameen. We ask Allah to allow you to find a beautiful, righteous Muslimah that will aid you in this life and in hereafter. Allahumma ameen. Secondly, with regards to the question, many of the ulama and the fuqaha of today, they say that these websites are unlawful and it is impermissible to use them. And the reason why it's unlawful and impermissible, they say because it is a breeding ground for people of evil, people of fasad, people of shar, people that wish to look and to talk, to mingle, to mix, to do bad and negative things, looking at women with their faces uncovered, with their heads uncovered, with their bodies uncovered, looking at men, lusting off of men, etc. So many of the ulama and the fuqaha today, they say that the websites are totally haram, period. Other fuqaha, they hold the view that the sites are permissible. There's nothing wrong with them, but a woman is not to show her face. She's not to show herself and expose herself on the website for obvious reasons. But they don't necessarily say that it's absolutely haram and unlawful. Now, one may say, if a sister doesn't cover her hands and her face, she's automatically or already walking outside and she's uncovered. What is the immediate harm in her showing her face and her hands on the internet? She doesn't wear the full hijab in the beginning. So her looking for a husband looking for her, she isn't covered when she goes to the school, when she goes to college. She goes to get into her car, to get on the bus, to get on the train, to walk down the street, to go to the grocery store, the supermarket. Everyone sees her hands and her face. So some people, they debate and they argue with that issue. Obviously, a sister wears full niqab or full burqa, who wears and the gloves, she covers her hands. They're going to say her showing her face and her hands, her hair, her body online to every Tom, Dick, Joe, Harry is haram. But to a girl that's already not covering her hands and her face, it may be a bit different. So therefore, the ulama who say that it's permissible to use these websites, they say that you are to first and foremost have the proper intention, the proper niyyah, not looking for corruption, not looking just to look at pictures of girls, or girls not looking for pictures of guys. He's cute, he's nice, she's this and she's that. But with the actual sincere intention of finding a good Muslim spouse. These are based off of intentions in the well-known hadith that every Muslim knows. So therefore, I would say, try to find yourself a wife through the righteous Muslims that you know personally, through the masjid, through your imam, through your friends, through your family members. If you can't, if you don't find a wife that's suitable for you, or you have a specific need, specific tailor-made wife that you're looking for, and that you wish to marry her from abroad, or from another country, or from your country, but you can only find her online, then seek Allah's permission, or seek Allah's help. Ista'in billah. Seek the help of Allah, purify intention, and go in with an agenda. And I feel that it's very important for us to understand when it comes to Muslim matrimonies or any other business. You have to have an agenda. Okay, I'm going to the market, I'm going to the restaurant, I'm taking my children to the zoo, I'm taking my children to the park. I'm going to the department store. I'm going to Macy's to buy some clothes, to buy some gloves to keep my hands warm. They're playing music. They're uncovered women, and so on and so forth. I'm going in there with an agenda. An agenda. I'm not going in there to listen to the music. I'm not going in there to look at the naked women. I'm not going in there to look at the Christmas trees. I'm going in there to buy some nice gloves to keep my hands warm. Okay? To buy a jacket to keep my body warm. I'm taking my children to the zoo to look at the animals, Allah's creation, not to look at the uncovered Kafir women or uncovered Muslim women. And the same applies to this matrimonial service. If you go in there with the intention of looking for bad, looking for evil, then perhaps that's what you'll find. As the Prophet ﷺ told us with regards to fitan, وَمَنِ اسْتَشْرَفَهَا تَسْتَشْرِفْهُ. Or كما قال عليه الصلاة والسلام. He says, he who sticks his neck out the window and looks and exposes himself to fitna, تَسْتَشْرِفْهُ. The fitna will grab him and snatch him. So you need to have an agenda as a Muslim. And this is extremely important, as I said, not just for Muslim matrimonial services, but anything that you do. I'm not going to this restaurant to listen to music. I'm not going to the zoo to look at the uncovered women. I'm not going to Macy's for the Christmas party. I'm going to find some clothes, quality clothes that are on sale. So oftentimes Muslims, they go into places without the proper agenda. And the same applies to a masjid. I'm going to teach my class that's based off of Kitab, Sunnah, and Ijma'. This falsehood has nothing to do with me. That falsehood has nothing to do with me. I know what I'm there for. I have my plan. I have my purpose. I have my relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So if you go there with that intention and that firm resolve, and you know exactly what you're looking for, perhaps Allah will grant you a righteous wife via those means. And if you go in there with the improper intention, if you go in there without that firm resolve, perhaps you'll be sucked into that wild blender of fitna. Maybe you'll be put into the blender and chopped up and mixed up with all of the things that's going on those websites. Hopefully that's clear. As far as your parents, then obviously pleasing your parents is from the deen. As Allah Azza wa Jalla clearly mentioned in the Quran al-Kareem, that your Lord has commanded you, He's ordered you, Muhammad, to worship Him and none but Him. And that you treat your parents kindly. You treat them in a benevolent manner. You respect them, you serve them, you obey them in that which is good. And countless other ahadith, let alone the Quran, that talks about the rights of the parents. So you should try to please your parents, respect your parents. However, it is not necessarily a binding condition that they have to approve of every single thing. In general, what we say the presupposed rule is that the parents are supposed to be wise. They're supposed to be loving and caring. They're supposed to want good for you. But it's not a condition that they have to agree with every single thing that you do. As long as it's not displeasing to Allah, as long as it's not displeasing to Ar-Rahman, and your parents disagree, they're short-sighted, they have narrow minds, or they're ignorant of the deen, you don't necessarily have to take their permission for everything that you do. However, you live in their home, you live with them, okay? They're feeding you, they're taking care of you. All right, that's a different story. They're going to say, if you don't listen to our advice, you don't want to follow our advice, but you live in our home. And if you're so big and bad and such a strong Muslim, why aren't you living by yourself? So take that into consideration. You don't want to make a fitna and a problem with regards to your relationship with your parents. Consult them. Ask them their advice. Can you help me find a wife, father? Can you help me find a husband, etc.? And see what they say. You found a sister online. She seems like a good sister. Present the facts and the information to your parents. See what they say. As far as if your parents, unfortunately, are ignorant, if they're foolish, and many people that are grown and are foolish, then seek Allah's help and try your best to find a suitable wife. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala surely knows best. Jazakumullah khairan.